and welcome into the Wednesday morning viewpoint for this Wednesday morning, November the 19th, 2025. I'm your host, Randy Williams. 334-875-1490 and 1492 are the numbers to call if you have comments or questions. And let's see here, we ought to be live on, well, I'll tell you, we should be live, okay, now, on our live stream, our YouTube channel, selmapostherald.com. If you have had any problems finding our live stream feed, then you can go to the selmapostherald.com website on the home page. And there have been some things added to the homepage, in fact, just this morning, because somehow I didn't get I didn't notice the press release from ADECA, from the Alabama Department of Economic and Community Affairs, that they released on Monday, but I saw it this morning. And they are making available funds to Selma, Dallas County, and Autauga County for residents who have not finished repairs on their homes that were affected by the tornado in January of 2023. And so I typed the link in by hand and was not successful. It came back with an error. And as I said earlier, if I got an error, and I'm pretty digitally literate, then the average person, I'm sure, would have the same problem. So we at selmapostherald.com said we're going to cut the middleman out and take you directly to the website. And not just that, but the full official news release from ADECA is on the selmapostherald.com website, complete with a link that will take you directly to ADECA's website for Alabama Recover, Alabama Repair. And so right under our logo and slogan, History in the Making, you will see the official news release from ADECA. And what I did, which is a little different, is I added, although the link is mentioned several times and it's highlighted several times in the news release, but a lot of times we don't, by the time we get to it, sometimes we might not see it, or any number of things can happen. And our goal at the Selma Post Herald is to make it real simple for you to be able to easily navigate and get the information that you need. This is just another example of what we do. And so right under the slogan, of History in the Making, you will see, I'm pulling it up now so I can tell you exactly what, so we can all be on the same page. I'm amazed at what's online sometimes. And still, anyway, I know it. So you look under the slogan, you see on the news release, I've added the link, highlighted, so that right under where it says for official, the official news release, you'll see it highlighted. All you have to do is click on that link, and it will take you straight to ADECA's website telling you what you need to do. Now, these are grants, not loans. A grant you don't have to pay back, but they do have things that you need to have to qualify to get it. First come, first serve. I think it's approximately $13 million, and a little more over 13 million that's available for Selma, Dallas County, and Autauga County. And so that's a good amount of money that can maybe do some things. I was just talking yesterday about how some of these insurance companies allegedly drug their feet. How many people have accused some of these insurance companies that they've paid religiously on time. You know what I mean? And every time they have an increase, the homeowner goes up right with them, pays the insurance company on time. And the first time there's a legitimate claim, it takes months, if not years, before they, and then they're making money. For whatever reason, they drag their feet, But if you're late for a payment, don't you dare be late. And don't dare give them an excuse not to, do what they say they're going to do. Now, I don't know. Every company, I'm sure, is not guilty of that, but there's some who are. And you need to make a note of that. But anyway, so if you still have some damage to your property as a result of the tornado in January 2023, ADECA has money available for you to apply for. And so in order for you to find out what it's all about, the full news release is available, unchanged, unedited, with the exception of having added an extra link on the selmapostherald.com website. And I'll get into some of those more details a little later. Now, yesterday, I featured Birmingham's police chief and mayor and the law enforcement community as a press conference they held back in September about how they plan to deal with crime. Today, I'm going to feature Selma. Now, when this press conference was held, I was not notified. And that's why I didn't do anything on it, because I was not notified. Usually I am, but for whatever reason, any number of things could have happened, but I was not notified about this particular press conference. And I can't always be at all of them, but typically it was really important. It was something that is critical that our audience needs to know, that our citizens need to know. I will often make a sacrifice if necessary, if there's a conflict, and I'll be there to document it. That was not the case this time. And usually, unfortunately, I'm probably the only news outlet that will video and record audio and video in its entirety. But that's not always the case. And so I just happened to stumble up on, and I mean stumble up on, a YouTube video that Channel 12 has posted on YouTube, and I'm glad they did. It's a different. When you're talking about a news organization like Channel 12 or Channel 8, they have a lot of territory to cover in limited time. They don't have the same kind of time I have on a daily basis. You're talking about a full newscast is 30 minutes. I'm on for an hour every day. But they're covering the whole state, not the whole state, but certainly the region. And so they don't have the same kind of time and can't do what selmapostherald.com can do. But in this case, I'm glad to report that is not the case. WSFA did not only did they were they at the press conference, but they also posted it on YouTube. And when that happens, when they post on YouTube, then typically I'm able to go ahead and play whatever it is that was posted on YouTube, and that's what I'm going to do this morning. The press conference that Mayor Moss and Chief Fulford held last week that I was not at was recorded and videotaped, and I'm going to play it in its entirety this morning so we can see just what that was all about. Okay, and I'll do that in a few minutes. Let's take this break first, and then I'll get the wheels in motion to hear the press conference that was done last week with Selma Mayor Johnny Moss III and Selma Police Chief Kenty Fulford and others. With Barry Parker and our friends at Reliable Chevrolet GMC, 80 years, Barry. That's right, George. We've been right here at the same location at 14th Lawrence Street. Also the same family, the Porter family. Bill is here and has his two sons, John and Will. And soon they'll be taking over, so it'll be a third generation and the ownership of Reliable Chevrolet GMC. Now let's talk about what's going on with Chevrolet and GMC. We're coming up on the end of the year. Big time discounts on these 25s that you got left. That's right, George. We're moving them out right and left. If you're in the market for a 2025 model, let me encourage you to come down. Get them while they're still available, because the 26s are here and we've got more coming, so we got to make room. Whatever your transportation needs are, we can take care of them right here and let us get you fixed up so you can be riding today. Not forget about wheel, sign, and service. That's right, we've got all kind of makes and models on the pre-owned inventory, from cars and trucks to SUV. And when it comes to getting your vehicle serviced, we have the top service department in Central Alabama right here at Reliable Chevrolet GMC. And is that fifth oil change still free? Always free, not just your first fifth, every fifth oil change. Regardless of how many vehicles you have in the family, each one stands on its own. To get in touch with Reliable Chevrolet and GMC, what do we do? 872-2337. Or check us out on the website at reliablegmc.com, or best, just come visit us right here at 14th Lawrence Street in downtown Selma. At Reliable, where they truly have it all. Carry Used and Used Body Shop reminds you the Whitetail Deer can do some damage to your vehicle. If you hit a deer and need repair, call Used Body Shop, 334-875-4470. Your deer damage vehicle repair specialist, Used Body Shop.
Good morning, I'm Jasmine Williams at the USA 12 News. Here's what's happening this Wednesday. The long talked about Jeffrey Epstein files at the Department of Justice may finally be released. The U.S. House and Senate voted on Tuesday, and now that bill goes to the president for his signature. And Alabama Senator Katie Britt released a statement saying, quote, "Let's be clear, for Democrats, this was never about the big guns. Under Joe Biden, Democrats did nothing to facilitate the release of these files, while Republicans have been calling for the release for years." A sexual predator in our area was sentenced to nearly 1,000 years in prison. We were in the courtroom when the judge sentenced Jason Hudson to over 960 years in prison. His wife was sentenced to 30 years in that same. In Talladega County, firefighters say they were able to fully contain a wildfire there. Officials say the fire burned nearly 1,500 acres. Thankfully, no one was hurt and no homes were damaged. I'm Jasmine Williams with your morning headline.
Your 1490 WHBB Wednesday weather forecast, staying unseasonably warm and dry for now. Sunshine with a high near 80 today. Partly cloudy tonight, will be around 58 for the overnight. Well, just a touch above 80 tomorrow with more sunshine, but some clouds make their way in starting tomorrow night. Low temperature of 55. Friday, end of the week, cloudy skies, high in the upper 70s. We'll throw in a 40% chance of afternoon showers, a 50% chance for Friday night, down to the mid-60s for the low. And for Saturday, we'll start out with a 20% chance of showers for the gray goes away, and the sunshine returns with a high near 80. That is looking to weather. May of 1490, WHBB.
1490 WHBB. Before I get into the press conference on gun violence with Mayor Moss and Police Chief, Selma Police Chief Kenta Fulford, let me say happy birthday again to Mrs. Patricia Gallion. And your husband, Paul Gallion, wanted to make sure he wished you a special happy birthday. He does it every year. So, it's good to still have love in a relationship, huh? Okay. So happy birthday to you. And I certainly we all hope that you have a special day and a wonderful day. Now, this is the press conference that was held last week in Selma. Mayor Moss and Police Chief Kenta Fulford, and I'm going to play this in its entirety. Again, I was not at this conference. I was not notified. That's why I wasn't there. And sometimes I'm notified on things at the last minute, and my schedule may not allow. But usually, if it's something of this nature, I try to make myself available and document it so that you can know what's going on, not just to pick and choose. And I don't want to be guilty of some of my brothers and sisters in mainstream media to tell you what they want you to know and not what you need to know. That's not my style. Huh? But anyway, that being said, let's listen to the press conference that took place at City Hall last week. Oh, it would help if it was connected. Let me take this quick break. I'll be right back.
Good night, Mama. This is why. Brought to you by the U.S. Treasury, and the United Council.
Okay, now here we go. Now here we go.
Before we begin, I want to acknowledge not only the lives lost in the most recent tragedy, but also the ongoing violence that is Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Before we begin, I want to acknowledge not only the lives lost in the most recent tragedies, the man and the young woman taken far too soon, but also the ongoing violence that has caused pain and fear in too many of our neighborhoods. To every family that has lost a loved one, and to every resident who has felt unsafe in their own home, my heart goes out to you. Selma, our hearts are heavy. We are tired, but we are also determined. And standing behind me today are students from our local high schools, young people who represent the promise and the future of Selma. Their presence reminds us what's at stake. Every decision we make, every step we take must be about building a safer, stronger city for them. Chief Fulford will brief me later on the full details of the most recent incident and our collective next steps. What we already know is clear: the violence must stop. And every leader, myself included, has a role to play in restoring peace. These are not just statistics. These are sons and daughters, mothers and fathers, neighbors and friends. Every life lost represents a deep wound in our community. We have seen too many shootings, too many funerals, and too many families broken by senseless violence. This cannot and will not define who we are. Selma will not be known for tragedy. We will be known for transformation. To the Selma Police Department, Chief Fulford and I have already begun important conversations about what must happen immediately and long-term to restore peace and trust in our city. Let me be clear. I support our officers, and I honor the courage, commitment, and sacrifice it takes to serve. At the same time, I believe in accountability, not as punishment, but as partnership. We will strengthen communication, improve coordination, and provide the tools you need to succeed. Because accountability and support must always exist together. And under this administration, they will. Together, we are developing a coordinated plan that includes increased patrol visibility in high incident areas, adjustments to deployment and investigative strategies, stronger collaboration with state and federal partners, and greater transparency so citizens can see our progress in real time. These steps are about prevention as much as protection, saving lives before tragedy strikes. But public safety begins with all of us, our officers, our churches, our schools, our parents, and our young people. It cannot rest on one department alone. We must reach our young people before violence does. We must reclaim our neighborhoods and rebuild trust through consistent presence and communication. To the people of Selma, I hear you. I share your frustration and your pain, but I also share your hope. This is not about politics or headlines. It's about saving lives and restoring peace. We will act with urgency, transparency, and faith, because I believe our best days are still ahead of us. Chief Fulford and I are aligned in purpose and in plan. He will now share more about the department's ongoing response, the investigation, and the steps being taken to strengthen safety across our city. Following Chief Fulford, District Attorney Robert Turner Jr. will also share remarks. Because this work requires full coordination between law enforcement, prosecution, and City Hall. Together, City Hall, the Selma Police Department, and the District Attorney's Office are united in the belief that Selma can and will be safe again. I'd like to take this time to acknowledge our City Council representatives who are in the building. City Council President Kenora Randolph, who's standing behind me. But in closing, as your mayor, I will not rest until every family in this city can rest without fear. Psalm 34:14 reminds us, Turn away from evil and do good. Seek peace and pursue it. That's not just scripture, that's our assignment. We will seek peace, pursue peace, and protect peace for every citizen of Selma. Thank you, Chief.
I want to say good afternoon to everyone, to the mayor's council president, to all the members that are here. Gun violence continues to impact families, neighborhoods, and our entire community. Each life lost or changed by gunfire is one too many. As your police department, we are committed to taking decisive and transparent steps to reduce gun violence and make our city safer for everyone. Today, I want to outline a few initiatives we are implementing and going to expand in the months ahead. First, we're going to strengthen community partnership. We will be working closely with community organizations, faith leaders, and youth outreach programs to identify at-risk individuals and intervene before violence occurs. The department will host community safety forums. Targeted patrols and focused deterrence strategies will be deployed in areas most affected by gun violence. Illegal firearms enforcement. We're going to expand our task force to increase the recovery of illegal firearms and hold those trafficking and possessing them accountable. Collaboration with federal partners such as the ATF and other law enforcement partners will continue to strengthen investigation and prosecutions. Youth prevention and engagement. We'll be working with our school resource officers to teach and educate students on gun safety and the real consequences of firearm misuse. Officer training and accountability. Our goal is not only enforcement, but also prevention, compassion, and trust building with the community we serve. Gun violence is not a problem the police can solve alone. It requires the collective effort of all of us, community members, local government, schools, and families. Together, we can make a difference and build a safer future for our city. And I'm going to leave with a quote from President Ronald Reagan. Evil is powerless if the good are unafraid.
I'm Robert Turner. I am pleased to be here today. I love to see the fact that the mayor has hit the ground running. We have been in the trenches throughout the 4th Judicial Circuit, but particularly in Dallas County, over the past couple of years with an exorbitant number of violent crimes. In order for us to make a difference in this community, though, we are going to have to work together. Law enforcement, the district attorney's office, the city officials, the county commissioners, please be attentive to the needs and the wants of the police departments. Right now, one of the things that we have noticed over the past couple of years is that the department has been understaffed. And in order to get up to speed, we have to make sure that we're offering competitive salaries, benefits, and the tools necessary to do the job. So what I'm seeing today and what I'm feeling I'm in the building on today is that right now, everybody seems to be on one accord. And we have to, as a community, take responsibility for the actions, not just of ourselves, but of our children and our grandchildren. And work on solutions that come from the ground up and not always the top down. So I am encouraged by everything that I've seen today. We have members of our district attorney's office that are here, and this is a day that we've been looking forward to for a long time. We encourage not just coordination and working together from the city units, but we need in the county to work together with the state and the feds. And what I'm listening to and what I'm hearing today is extremely encouraging. And I believe that the black belt is on the rise. And if we work together and communicate and we commit to get into the root cause of these issues and not just trying to put out the fires after they occur, then we will be well on our way to making this a community that we can all be proud of.
This time, this concludes our press conference. but I will take questions, a few questions for myself, or Chief, or DA Turner.
Do you have any specific neighborhoods that you'll be up in patrols? Can you tell us what neighborhoods, what areas you're going to be?
Well, what we're going to do, we're going to be looking at where the violence has been occurring, where the shots, we're getting shots fired calls, and then we will be targeting those neighborhoods.
So you're going to kind of figure out, you're still figuring out exactly where you need to up the patrol?
That's correct.
Okay. Gotcha.
I have a question. Chief, my area is one of the problems to the gun violence. I would like to know areas late at night, most of the gun violence are done at the hours. Patrolling everything.
Yes, ma'am. Like I said, what we're going to do, we're going to look at the entire city and where we're getting calls for shots fired and where these murders and shootings are occurring, and then we will deploy the officers where they need to be.
Chief, what would this transparency you spoke of look like? What would that look like?
Like I say, what we're going to do, we're going to hold some community meetings where the public can come out and talk with us and let us know what they are seeing, and then we can respond in kind. Like I say, I hope to get our neighborhood watch programs back up and going like we used to have.
Chief, when did the relationship building with the ATF and the feds start, and how have you seen it progress?
Well, one thing I looked at when I became the chief of police is relationship building. So what I did, I started attending meetings, attending conferences, and started networking. So it's been going on since I became the chief back in 2019.
You got a lot of hope dealers standing up there with you. How are they going to be involved in helping? What do you see as both chief, mayor, and DA? What do you see them doing to help curb the violence?
In my opinion, each one reach one, and they are in the schools where their peers are, and you never know what they're saying, what they're talking about in the schools. And these individuals behind me and other students can say, hey, listen, they can give them an encouraging word, kind of prevent some of the things that are going on.
Anything from the mayor and the DA about students in the schools help?
One of the things I think, such as the ones that are behind us, as a society, I think that we become so driven by catchphrase the public wants to see. So we talk about the negative and we don't highlight the positive. So one of the things I think we could do is to continue to highlight these young people like we're doing today and encourage them, because so long there have been stigmas in certain demographics where it was unpopular for you to become a police. It was unpopular for you to become a mayor. It was unpopular for you to become a district attorney. So what we're hoping will happen is that we can transform those stigmas and let people realize that nobody can take care of your community better than you can. People who love their community have a vested interest in it and need to give back. So hopefully we can encourage these young people for justice. Standing up for safe communities is something that they need to be proud of and not ashamed of. So hopefully events like today and
Chief, we tend to ask sometimes because we want to know everything. And perhaps for us, you can design a statement for when we're going to ask you where you're going to be, what you're going to be doing. I don't think we need to know all that.
Right.
I don't think we need to be telling all the news about what you're going to be doing, how you're going to be doing it, who you're going to be doing it to. So phrase something for us, not now,
Right.
but for when we ask you all of those things that we really don't need to know, so that we can accept that. You tell us, this is going to be the statement. When you ask me these things, this is going to be the statement. We're going to be done with that. Because I don't think we need to know everything.
That's correct.
But what I like that you said was that you're going to be targeting the traffickers. That's important because I don't know who it is and where they came from. Guns are being dropped off in our city because what we do know is our children can't walk into the store and buy these. Whatever it is they're shooting, it's heavy artillery. They can't walk into a store and get that. And so when you said you're going after the traffickers, please report back to us as general as you can that you are picking them up. Because the DA also said it's the root of the matter. And the root of the matter, you got these teenagers carrying all these guns, and I talk to them all the time, but where did they get them from?
That's right.
Who's bringing them in? Who's dropping them off? And so I appreciate you for saying that.
Yes, ma'am.
And I look forward to the report back, generally.
Yes, ma'am.
Chief, speaking of guns, the legislature, the state legislature, passed a law that if I hold a cell phone in my hand, if I'm driving down the street, I can get stopped. But if I hold a gun in my hand while driving down the street, I cannot. So how police guns if you can't even stop them if you see it driving down the street?
Well, there are other ways and there are other laws on the book that help us get to the results that we want to get to, that we can use.
Such as?
Well, I can't go into too many details, but there are ways where we can make contact with them.
Chief, can you share some things that businesses can do, community members, individuals, because I know for Selma Housing Authority, there are some things that we've done as an agency, Mr. Randolph has done to help the police department, for example, doorbell camera. Things that businesses can do to help with this collective, as a collective, with this effort.
Yes, ma'am. I'm glad you asked that question. I spoke with the chief in Montgomery, and they had want the police department to have access to their cameras. They can have, they give the access to them, and there is a office area where they have these monitors set up, and where see the cameras that are, let's just say, Swift drug or brown drug, because the police department have given them, they've given the police department access to those cameras. So that's going to be some of the things that we're going to be looking at doing as well. Those citywide cameras are monitored by us. We have total access to them.
And then the second part of the question is, how is the relationship with the DA's office as to a lot of already, like, is the reporting well enough to be able to, when you arrest people, to keep them and prosecute, or like all like that? Same people keep already.
Well, what we do, our detectives and our investigators, when they're going to make an arrest, they're going to contact someone from the DA's office, and they work together from there making the cases. Yes, sir.
You mentioned evil and the fact that people of goodwill need courage to combat evil. Is there a way for people who want to contact the police, law enforcement, anonymously or in confidence, to give information about illegal activity in our communities so that they're not even more afraid after they speak up than they are before they do?
Yes, sir. Anytime I do a press release or a news release, I always put Crime Stoppers information on there, because we are a partner with Crime Stoppers. That number is 215-STOP. 215-STOP. Your information is anonymous. They don't give us your phone number, your name, or anything. Only thing
You are responsible for prosecuting crime.
You mentioned the fact that when a person is charged for a crime, that they are innocent until proven guilty. And what has to happen is that we have to make sure that our investigations are as complete and thorough as possible. and that they include what we call direct evidence as well as circumstantial evidence. Circumstantial evidence is evidence that you can gather either through forensics. There was a lot of talk about video camera footage and things of that nature. There are so many things that go into building a strong case. One of the things that we have seen in the past, it's not just centralized here, but sometimes it happens because it's a function of, there's a young lady over to my right or your left that talked about the fact that people are afraid to report for fear of retaliation. So a lot of the cases are being charged based upon information that people are not willing to come to court and testify about. That is a huge problem. So I think that with some of the coordinated efforts that we've heard about on today, that we'll be able to make cases that can be prosecuted from the arrest all the way through the conviction stage, because that is what's really important. There are a number of situations that are involved in this. The judges have a big role to play in this as well, because a lot of times after a case has been concluded, a jury verdict has been it's left to hear what that sentence pronouncement will be. And that is a decision that is not controlled necessarily by the DA or the police department. So there are a number of factors that we probably could talk about this for here today, or if someone wants to talk to us at our office.
In conclusion, I just want to thank everyone. I want to thank the council members, city employees, citizens of Selma, and these leaders behind me. I want to give them a hand. Thank you, Chief. Thank you, DA. Thank you, Brother President. Council members, please raise your hands.
I have a question.
Not only because she was my kindergarten teacher.
Finding that the sky cops have been beneficial to solving any crimes.
I can answer that. Yes, ma'am. I tell you, right after the Sky Cop went up, we had a vehicle that was stolen that rode right by one of them, and we picked the tag up and we were able to recover it. So yes, ma'am.
All right, Ms. Williams. I'll let you have that. Okay, at this time, this concludes our press conference. I want to thank you guys.
And that was the press conference that was held last week. I think the date was the 13th. I was not notified about the press conference. That's why I was not there, just as a programming note. And as I said earlier, I'm not always able to make it to all of them anyway. But, you know, selmapostherald.com's goal is not to get it first. We want to get it right. And that's the bottom line. I don't have to get it first. We want to get it right. And most of what we do on the selmapostherald.com website and other press conferences and events that we cover is shared with Viewpoint and WHBB. There were a couple of points made. One of the first points I kind of keyed in on was District Attorney Turner really talking about peer pressure. You know, if you recall, the young lady that was here Friday on Viewpoint that had just written a book that's geared towards helping parents and students avoid prison, and especially not from the juvenile detention centers to prison. She talked about peer pressure and how peer pressure is a factor with many of the young people who are committing crimes. And I think I mentioned earlier this week the two reasons I know of in terms of, and this is why trust has to be built with the community and the law enforcement community. is the two number one complaints that I used to hear. I don't hear as much because now people are really clammed up sometimes. But they were saying, and have been, they still say from time, they still come to me. I don't, they don't like to necessarily put it on the radio. And they don't want to use their voices, but they'll call me off the air or in my travels and say that they don't share information or tell everything they know for fear of retaliation. That came up in this conference. I think District Attorney's retaliation was, he was saying that they don't want to go to court and testify because of fear of retaliation. But even before it gets to that point, a lot of people won't even call because they feel like if it gets leaked and if somebody tells them who told on them, then they're coming back to retaliate on them. And that has happened far too many times. And then the other thing was many times when people in the community call to make a complaint about some criminal activity or something that really is affecting the community, the dispatchers were sending the patrol cars to the house of the person making the complaint. And then that identifies them and they become targeted for what? Retaliation. So those are two reasons why a lot of people in the community don't speak up. And that's what has to be rebuilt in terms of trust. And trust is earned. It goes both ways. The other thing was, I often hear Sheriff Grantham often talks about and used to talk about the effectiveness of roadblocks, driver license checkpoints, and how those checkpoints flushes out a lot of drugs and guns. And the other point that came up about illegal guns, which is the point that I make on a regular basis. When we talk about gun control, I say self-control, first of all. But more importantly, illegal guns. How you gonna regulate illegal guns? How you gonna regulate somebody that has broken into somebody's car and stolen the gun out of their glove compartment? I think I heard somebody in the room say, well, and they can't. A teenager can't walk into a gun store and buy a gun legally. So it's not legal guns that's the problem, or legal gun holders, or legal gun owners. It's illegal guns. And I think Chief Fulford alluded to saying that there's some law enforcement techniques that can be used to impact that. And so, like I always say, if the FBI, when it was originally created, cracked down on the mafia in Chicago and New York and was able to get rid of a lot of the illegal gun activity there, then that means they have the knowledge. But the question always comes down to, for me, the will, the political will, or what is the political environment? And the Secretary of Transportation, Duffy, said, public safety is the wrong area to politicize. Let's take this break, and I'll be back with more after these messages.
We're with Barry Parker and our friends at Reliable Chevrolet and GMC. 80 years, Barry.
That's right, George. We've been right here at the same location at 14 Florence Street. Also the same family, the Porter family. Bill is here and has his two sons, John and Will. And soon they'll be taking over, so there'll be a third generation that has had the ownership of Reliable Chevrolet GMC.
Now let's talk about what's going on with Chevrolet and GMC. We're coming up on the end of the year. Big time discounts on these 25s that you got left.
That's right, George. We're moving them out right and left. If you're in the market for a 2025 model, let me encourage you to come down. Get them while they're still available, because the 26s are here and we've got more coming, so we got to make room for your transportation needs, or we can take care of them right here. Let's get you fixed up so you can be ready today.
Not forget about the pre-owned side and service.
That's right. We've got all kind of makes and models on the pre-owned inventory from cars to trucks to SUV. And when it comes to getting your vehicle serviced, we have the top service department in Central Alabama, right here at Reliable Chevrolet GMC.
And is that fifth oil change still free?
Always free, not just your first fifth, every fifth oil change. Regardless of how many vehicles you have in the family, each one stands on its own.
To get in touch with Reliable Chevrolet and GMC, what do we do?
872-2337, or check us out on our website at reliablegmc.com, or best, just come visit us right here at 14th Lawrence Street in downtown Selma.
At Reliable, where they truly have it all.
Congratulations to Peak Insurance, recently voted Best Insurance Agency in the Summertime Journal Reader's Choice Awards. And a big round of applause for Lauren Adams, named Best Customer Service Representative. And for Chase Utsey, voted Best Insurance Agent.
We want to take a moment to say something very important. Thank you. Thank you to our loyal customers who continue to trust us with your insurance needs year after year. Your confidence means everything to us. I'm Owen Peak. At Peak Insurance, we're proud to be the only locally owned independent insurance agency in Dallas County. From helping you choose the right coverage to standing by your side if you ever have a claim. We represent many great insurance companies, but we work for you. We're also honored to be the exclusive representative of Auto Owners Insurance in Dallas County, along with many other top-rated carriers. So once again, from all of us here at Peak Insurance, thank you for your loyalty and thank you for your confidence. Stop by and see us at 1003 Broad Street in Selma. Call today or visit peakinsurance.com. Peak coverage, peak service, Peak Insurance.
If you don't want to cook tonight, come to Dave's Market and pick up a delicious, made just like you like it, hot, fresh Hunt Brothers pizza. And Dave says if you need welding work, give a call to 37 Metal Works, 334-419-3721. Says they did some great work at his store. They do commercial and residential. Equipment repair, gates, pipe fencing, tractor trailer repair, and much more. Ask Dave about 37 Metal Works when you get out to the store to get your groceries. In today's world, repairing your vehicle to showroom condition demands cutting-edge technology. That's what you get at the all-new George's Paint and Body Shop in Selma. After tornado damage total reconstruction, George's has the latest advanced technology, especially designed for today's multi-tech vehicles. The Bosch calibration system restores safety features like lane departure and collision sensors. The two new Chief frame machines and computer laser measuring system delivers pinpoint accuracy down to the millimeter. And the two new downdraft paint booth units provide perfect quality refinishing. And with the reconstruction comes a much larger facility designed for an increased capacity and quicker turnaround times. George's deals directly with your insurance company, but they work for you. Call to schedule your estimate and repairs today. See the pros, Eric and Scooter Hagen at George's Paint and Body Shop, 1215 J.L. Chestnut Jr. Boulevard, or call 334-872-1441. The all-new George's Paint and Body Shop is
1490 WHBB. If you're looking at the website on the live stream on YouTube, I'm on the website with the ADECA news release, and it's homerecoveral.com where it says for immediate release. I added the link so that if you need help to complete repairs that were created by the tornado in January of 2023, they have money available for you to apply for. Just go to the link and it will give you all the information you need to know. Also, I was thinking, I remember that day that they had the press conference, somebody did call me and asked me, had I heard anything about a statement that was going to be made about reaction to the recent gun violence? And I said, no, I hadn't been notified of anything. I checked my emails and I checked all of my emails and no. So I was not notified. People want to know, why weren't you there, Randy? Somebody asked me that. I didn't know about it. So I just want you to know, but even though that I'm not always able to be there, I'm not trying to get it first. I just want to get it right. Have yourself a safe and enjoyable day. I'll see you tomorrow morning. The good Lord willing, stay tuned for Fox News on WHBB Selma. It's 9:00.
It's already been unanimously approved in the Senate. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. So this morning, when the resolution the House also passed arrives, compelling the Justice Department to release all the files from the Jeffrey Epstein sex trafficking